Welcome to the next episode of our little podcast, Beyond Tennis, where we try to discuss the mental aspect of the game. My name is Ladislav Schwarz. I'm a former professional tennis player, and I'm here with Martin Blaho, also former tennis player, now tennis coach, mental coach, and a lot of other things. So, uh, so let's get right into it. I again prepared three questions. I try to keep it as usual in the mental, technical, and tactical part, and I try to always bring one question and we try to discuss it. So, Machiko, hi, how are you?
How are you? Good, good. I'm looking forward to what you prepared for us today.
Okay, so let's get right into it. So, the mental question for today, I had in one of my practices one girl, and she told me, and we've been there, most of us who used to practice and who played for a long time, that she said, the longer I play, the worse I feel. So, I try to discuss what is happening there. Then, in the tactical aspect, I have the two examples how we can divide players, and a lot of players are from outside in, taking the information from outside and then trying to figure out a strategy, and also the other players are from inside out, that they have prepared something, and that also I think is in the coaching industry. A lot of coaches uh, are good in from taking the information from the player and to work with it, and also others are from the things they learned or from their experiences trying to help the player. And the third question is more technical, but I believe we will go beyond tennis because it's the technical part of the second serve. Because I have already problems with some of my players that the second serve somehow, if they are 12, 13, 14, they serve a lot of double faults. And what is happening there? And maybe I believe we will discuss also with the first serve and everything what's there. So there are the questions, and let's get to the first one. So the longer I play, the worse I feel. What do you think?
Well, I think it would be good to give a little context here. So I guess my question back is can you tell me more about the player, the situation, or how did you come up with this question? Where is it coming from?
Yeah, I mean, it came last week when we were practicing, and she asked to stay for 3 hours. So she was playing, and somehow in the beginning when it was maybe everything, I mean, new, let's say, or she was probably more focused, and she played good, and she like felt, and maybe it's from the expectation that the longer I play, the more I practice, the more I figure out, the better I'm going to play. But the opposite happened, that she felt like she's playing worse and worse. Even the things she could do in the beginning, after 2.5 hours, she couldn't. And if it's more related to the confidence part, that okay, they also played a lot of points, and maybe she got more and more frustrated, but it wasn't with the one opponent. There was several, and several exercises and everything. So I wonder what is happening, because I believe we all have been there, and I also felt a lot of times that um I mean, usually when I wanted to like get into the flow state, I had the pattern that if I play for 3, 4, 5 hours, then my mind, because it's already so tired, that it calms down and then stays just the present moment. And I really feel a lot of energy after 5 hours, and I can run, and I see the ball coming slower than normal. And I believe when the mind shuts down, the the flow happens. But sometimes it was like the longer one plays and the mind is probably still active, and from the frustration and things, or I don't know what's happening there, it can happen then you play somehow worse because maybe, like we were discussing previously, that if you have a bad backhand and maybe you figure out something what you want to try and it's working, but then the longer you play, it's not working because you get frustrated or whatever.
Yeah. So there's many, I think there's many things that came to my mind. Um, I would start with the basic, the fundamental foundation of, I believe, I always say, there's I always say like if I had to tattoo something, I don't have any tattoos, but if I had to pick one sentence or phrase that I would like be okay with tattooing myself is and you already know is become more involved and less attached. And why do I bring this up in this context is because you said it yourself. There's two ways, right? Either you're gonna be, as longer you're playing, the better you're playing, or the longer you're playing, the worse you're playing. And I believe it has all to do with like whether you're involved or attached. Why? Because if you're involved in what you're doing, and involved, for people who don't know, let's say the other synonyms or words can be like you said, like you're in the flow, you're playful, you're enjoying. These are all the kind of, you enjoying the process, you're in the process. That's the other. Involved versus attached is like in the process versus trying to achieve something, like looking for the outcome. Those are the two kind of dispositions you're in. So if you're involved, if you're playful in the process and this, what happens is naturally, like you said, like eventually you get into the flow more and more and more because you're playing more and more and more and you're having fun, you're enjoying. You're also not as tired because you are performing optimally, because your nervous system is more relaxed when you're playing as opposed to trying to get something. Um, Therefore, you can last longer. Because that's a big topic, because the first obvious answer would be like you get tired the longer you play, so you're not going to be perform. But it's not true for what you said, is like sometimes you play longer, you play better,
Exactly.
so that doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, if you're in the flow state, like the more you become more efficient, because like you said, you see the ball early, your instincts are faster, so you need less steps to get to the ball because you're relaxed. Every shot you can relax into it and feel the ball well, so there's not a lot of energy being lost because you're hitting clean, et cetera, right? So the opposite is you get playing worse and worse is when you're attached. So you have like I have to play well.
Yeah.
I must. And is what you said is the belief like, okay, if I play many hours, finally I will play great. So there's an attachment that's associated with it, which means that every shot you're gonna be so tight and every one you miss, you're gonna be so frustrated and emotionally the emotionality takes so much energy. Then after the longer you play, the first of all, the more it's gonna be like, well, I'm still not playing good. Like I've been playing long. It's still not up to my standard, which usually when there's attachment, you cannot because the standard is infinite. You're never
Mm.
happy because the moment you reach a goal, you just create the next goal. So you can never get there. So the whole time you're like, I'm not good enough, it's not good enough, I need more, I need more, I need more. And you're becoming more tired physically, you're becoming more tired mentally, and then it's the exact opposite effect. Your instincts are slower, you're not feeling the ball, you're very tight hitting each shot, and we all know that if you're tight hitting shots, then they're just not accurate, they're not going so well, and then it's like a downward spiral. Um, So, so yeah, I think especially for practicing and by playing matches also, the point is to look at it as a process, to look at it like this is just another day in my life, another training that I can enjoy. Because anyway, in one training, you're not gonna see a magical transformation like so much. or like you're gonna, you can have a realization, as we know, in one training or something that clicks. You're like, oh, I didn't think of that. That makes sense. And then you go practice it, but the change takes time. So going into it is yeah, take it as a process, be more involved, less attached, and you'll have more energy, you'll be happier, and ultimately you get better results also.
Yeah, it's like we discussed before, the growth and the fixed mindset, just to put it easy, and also, or even easier, if you just dare to win everything what you want to win, it's better chance that it might happen that you play worse and worse if you are not winning it because you just, as you say, so attached to the result that can happen. And if you just involve and you even though the same can happen for me, it was like, okay, I know that if I'm gonna play long, I might play better, but with the involvement, I was looking for what's working, what I tried different tactics and everything, and then automatically somehow it was going better and better and better and better because I figure out things and then it the longer I play, the better, like
Yeah.
you said. So yeah,
And another two things I want to say here is going off of what you just said, that figure out things and stuff. But I bet that when you actually figured something out, when like you hit a shot, it felt good, you allowed yourself to actually take confidence from that.
yeah,
You allowed yourself to say like, "Oh, that felt good. I like,
exactly.
let's go again." Right? But if a person's like has too high standards and is so attached in this, they will not take confidence from even hitting a good shot.
Mm,
So it's like if you think about it, like to put it simply, you can either slap yourself, and that's like a, let's say like a -1, and you can pat yourself on the back saying like good job, and that's like a +1.
right.
At the beginning of the training, you start at 0, right? And then the person who's like it's never good enough and they can always find something that could be better, it's like they're always slapping themselves. So the longer the play, the more it hurts.
Mm,
The person who is like, okay, sometimes I like remind myself, I slap myself sometimes, like one out of like I'm like, okay, like, and even that is not really like a slap, it's like, okay, it's not yet. I will pat myself on the back, it's not yet there, but I'm not slapping myself. Like I'm in neutral because I'm still looking for it. But when it's there, I pat myself on the back and I have like +1. And then like, and that's why the longer that you play, you get to like +15 and the other person's at like -30.
mm, mm,
And then you're leaving the training with confidence, feeling like, oh, I remember, okay, I found the forehand, I did this good, I did that good, I did the other thing good, like I'm feeling good. And the other person's like, yeah, like I can't play tennis. I don't want to play tennis ever again because look, clearly I cannot do this and I cannot do this and I cannot do that. And the funniest thing is they might be playing actually similar level.
yeah.
And again, it's back to what we talked about before, is what do you focus on? Your reality, what you feel is what you focus on. If you're focusing on the things you've done well, then that's what you feel. And if you're focusing on all the things you do terribly, then that's what you feel.
Mm. Great, perfect. Let's get to the other question. I'm looking forward because I have a also personal story. So the two kind of players from outside in and inside out. I believe that I always been more of the inside out player that I always prepared my tactics, and when I was younger it was like very easy, and then when I got older and I was playing ATP tournaments it was more complicated, maybe the tactics.
Can I just jump in, like just to explain, just so I better understand and for people listening, like the outside and inside out, but like what do you mean? Like the way I understood it is the inside out is like I have a plan and I don't care what's happening out there. I'm just doing this. What I told myself. Like I
Yeah,
have a big serve and a big forehand, and that's what I'm going for. I don't care what the opponent is playing.
yeah,
That's inside. out,
Yeah.
right? And the outside in is like I see what the opponent is playing, or I see, or to go beyond tennis, I see what the situation is, and I adapt to the situation.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
more, one is more dominant and one is more like adaptable, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Exactly. And we can go into which one is more masculine and feminine, or the left right hemisphere, and we all know how it works a little bit, but
I think maybe a good word that I just thought of, which would be alike, is that is like proactive and reactive.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can be proactive, meaning exactly as the inside out, like you said, like you're proactive, or you're reactive, you're reacting to the environment.
Exactly. And also the archetypes of the tennis players are the counter puncher is that from the outside in, so he's reacting, and the shooter or who wants to have a control is more from inside out. And of course, on the we can discuss how it changes on the levels from the kids. It's probably more inside out at 80%, okay, and 20% is also the tactical part. And on the pros, when Sinner, Alcaraz are playing, it's probably 80% from outside. You have to take the information and to adapt, and 20% because everybody already plays everything like they know how to do it. So it switches, it changes, but even on the highest level there are players. For example, Burdick, I saw him in an interview, and he said that maybe if he could play a little bit more to to the opponent's weaknesses, or maybe to change his game a little bit more, depends on the opponent. Maybe he could win the Grand Slam or become number one. So, yeah, probably I would like to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the approaches, and probably the result, like it always is to transcend both, or to recognize what kind of player or a coach are you, and also to learn to be also from the other perspective to yeah, to have it
Yeah.
like
So
together.
so tell me the story you wanted to say now from
Yeah,
the
and the
proactive
story
and reactive. Yeah.
exactly. What is the theme of my tennis life? It was always somehow that I was looking for the Holy Grail. And if you're a player from inside out, it's like always you somehow, you never somehow, or you always want to arrive somewhere that if I will understand something, it might be that, okay, I understand that this is what I have to play always, and to adapt just a little bit. Like, okay, I should be a surf and volley player and play always like this. I should play aggressive with the forehand all court, and the backhand only there. Or I should be a counter puncher or whatever. Of course, it changes because of the surfaces and everything. But again, for me, it was always to looking for the holy grail, that if I understand something, and it might be not only on the technical side, the tactical side, but also in the mental aspect of the game. Because, like I discovered meditation, and I thought that if I'm gonna meditate a lot, it's gonna help me to be more concentrated or whatever, or it might help me to be more in the present moment and to figure out things, or it might help me to be in the zone every day. So I was always looking for the holy grail, which never came, or it came, or I thought I found it, and I won a futures, I won a challenger, and I thought this is it. But again, something happened, and it was not working, anymore. Even though, like, theoretically and with the common sense, I knew that the it's not that simple, and I have to adapt, I have to play tactically, I have to, but I never stopped looking for the holy grail. And that's probably maybe the biggest cons of the inside out mentality, because, like, in my case, I always thought I'm gonna found the Holy Grail. If I found it, I'm gonna be 20 in the world, you know? And so it was
Yeah.
like interesting.
So I think, and sorry, I will use the proactive, reactive words. I don't know why they just make more sense to my brain, but it's the same thing, the inside out or outside in. But what I'm thinking of is like when you're being proactive, it's basically you're the type of person who you want to change the environment.
Yeah,
You want to go in and I'm gonna like make it so it is like I want it.
yeah,
That's being proactive,
yeah,
right? Reactive is like I'm gonna go into environment, I'm gonna change myself to fit into the environment.
yeah,
That's the easiest way to understand it. So you're either changing the environment or you changing yourself.
yeah,
Paradoxically, your story of finding the Holy Grail is like you're, in a way, you could say, one could say like you were trying to adapt in terms of like meditating and this, but not really actually, because it was the whole, and you conceptualized in a way like if I do something, I'll be able to control the environment perfectly.
yeah,
That's the Holy Grail. Like I will be like
exactly,
always in control of the environment. And then environment shifted or changed, and again you were like, oh, like it's not working,
exactly.
right? Um, so you created like illusion for yourself, like the pinnacle of what I can get to is where I have like ultimate power and I'll always be able to control the environment. That's the proactive mindset,
Yeah,
that I will always be in control of whatever is happening. And to get there, I have to be enlightened, and then I'll be always in control,
yeah, yeah,
which is we know is not true. On the other side, the other extreme is the reactive person. Like that's me, for example. Like that was my predisposition. That was the way I played. Like I was more the counter puncher and keeping the ball in. I was more like reacting to this. The problem there is the in the extreme for me it was like you take too much, let's say, um you, simply put, you're not proactive enough. You're too reactive, meaning that you don't realize your own power. Like in your case, like I have power and I want like more power, and this is like I don't have power. I'm just it's more like I'm my power is like I can change. Um I can adapt better. And it's more like hoping that the environment will be nice or like I won't have to change too much. And it still doesn't work because again, the environment changes and like you adapt it to something and then it changes and then you like again like have to adapt again. Right? So is a similar principle, just two extremes, two opposite extremes. And the when you talked about Sinner or Alcaraz, and when we talk about like transcending the duality and going beyond the black and white, and using the yin yang symbol, like going into the wholeness and going beyond the two, that's when you merge them together.
yeah.
Which means that, and you see it beautifully at the top level, like Alcaraz, they're not proactive, they're not reactive. What they are is they're like, you can call they're proactively reacting or reactively acting.
Mhm.
Right? It's together.
Yeah,
So so together is I see what the environment gives me and I act on it. And again, and then because I'm acting on it, I'm changing the environment. That's the proactive side. And as soon as the environment changes, there's a reactive. I react to the change and act on it again. And something changes again. And then I react to the change and act again. And that's the dialogue kind of that is happening, because it will be illusion of thinking like if I'm proactive, I'm like imposing something on the environment is not going to change. It is changing just by the fact that you're doing something.
yeah,
And that means at some point you can't be doing the same thing because it's changed, so you have to do something else to be effective. So you have to react. The problem is if you only, so if you only reactive, that means the environment, like you become, you cannot improve, let's say, because the environment stays the same, let's say, because you're not changing anything in the environment. You adapt to it, it becomes like this, and then that's it. You didn't create any change. In psychology, like the word is called agency. Like agency, like the proactive person has agency. They have this feeling of like I can go into the world and change something. I can impose my will onto the world. That the reactive doesn't have that. The reactive is more at the mercy of like, okay, I'll see what happens and then I'll just adapt to survive. Um, So that's what I would say. And for, and like you said, some players are more their mentality. And you can see right away how they play. Like we said, you have the big server and somebody who tries to hit winners and they're so proactive and they can see that it just doesn't work against this player and they're not able to adapt to what's happening. And the other person is too reactive and they're the person who like okay, like against some people, like I have to like be more proactive and do something, like, but I'm just reacting. I'm not able to seize an opportunity, take an opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean sometimes I see mostly with the parents the common myth that okay, just shoot the ball and someday it will go in and someday you will play good. It's like they are already like teaching the kids that okay, if you play like this, you're gonna one day be there, and it doesn't work. I see some coaches already like also like teaching them the the inside, like the one game, like you have to shoot, and if it then eventually it's gonna get in and you're gonna be great, because there are also probably examples that it happened like this, but they don't see that it's never going to be the one game that gonna win for you all of the matches. And the holy grail was the one game I was looking for, who's gonna like that's was like I will never forget it, and I'm gonna play it every day, so that was like I wanted to have the insurance somehow to have it. And when I remember when I played my best tennis, it was always because if you are like this, then if there is not like big motivation, you might get a lot of tournaments. You might go to a lot of tournaments with the mindset, okay, this is my game, I'm gonna play this, and either I'm gonna win it or not, and I have to improve in this. And when I was playing the tournaments like this, it usually I came to the opponent or the circumstances were the conditions were so bad that I couldn't with the one game win all of the matches. But when I went to the tournaments and I was like, no matter what happened, I'm gonna win this match and I'm gonna use this what I found earlier, this or this, depends on the conditions and depends on the player. Then I played my best tennis, but I didn't realize it at that time. It was for me, it was like I had to be at the life death situation to be able to use most of the tactics. And mostly what is also like disadvantage, if you are inside out player, you are not switching the tactics because what you see on the other side of the court, but what you see on the scoreboard. So it might be like 1-4, then you say, okay, let's go here. And then you play and you're just watching the scoreboard, and then you say, okay, it's 5-4 is working, so we stick with it. But then it's 5-7 or and you're gonna look for another solution.
Yeah.
but not based on the opponent, or it's never 100% and zero. It's always like 80-20, and you maybe and also maybe it's also because you don't understand the what's happening on the other side, and that's why you just stuck with your tools.
Yeah, because I was just thinking now that maybe even a simpler way to say this, to put it in very simple terms, is there's you're either thinking or you're acting. And the proactive or the inside out, as you call it, is the one who likes to act. The reactive is the one that likes to think.
Mm,
It's like the you have the thinker and the doer.
right.
And both extremes are not helpful. Because the
Mm,
doer is the one who like you do stuff without thinking, and then like you can find yourself in trouble because you're going in the wrong direction. Like you're going, but you might be going in the wrong direction. And the thinker is like you always know the right direction, but you're not going anywhere because you're not doing, you're not acting,
mm,
right? So that's why the in terms of tennis, the thinker, like to put it in a, if we just put it into the terms of like creating energy, the doer is creating energy. So that's why the thinker, that's like the counterpuncher needs likes to play players who create energy because they create the motion. And they like that, okay, now I'm just gonna redirect the energy in the correct way because I'm the thinker.
yeah,
The doer is the one who like, I'm just gonna go through, I'm gonna create so much energy, and if it's not working, I need to create even more energy. I need to go even bigger,
yeah.
right? But they don't see that like going even bigger doesn't work because you're going in the wrong direction. So I think that's how I would simplify it. And the transcending the two again is like you want to be doing and thinking at the same time.
Mm,
That's simultaneously. You're acting and thinking at the same time. So every shot, every decision, every this is like you decide what you gotta do and you do it. And then based on again how you do it, you see what happens, you think about it, you do it, and you decide and you do it. And you can do that there you're going, and also you're able to change direction in your path to find the most optimal way to the goal, right? Because if we look at it like looking for a treasure and you have a map, and the thinker and the doer start at the same time and they have to get to the goal, the thinker or the reactive is like, okay, like I'm gonna wait to see until the best way shows itself to me, and they're waiting. They're still at the starting line. The doer is by the time is like halfway in some direction. And maybe it is in the direction of the goal, and maybe it's in the completely opposite direction, or it's like we don't know which direction. They're somewhere.
yeah,
And both of them will eventually get to the maybe and maybe not, because maybe the thinker will be going always in the right direction, but they're not moving so slow they never get there to the goal. And the doer might get there accidentally. They will hit they'll find their way there by going full direction. Like somehow one time they'll get there, and even then it might be like they'll pass it by. That they will not even know they're there because they will just keep going somewhere. So that's kind of the metaphor I would use, like, and you can everybody can check it themselves and say themselves, okay, because it's not just like a that applies to everything you do. Because we might be doers in some circumstances in some areas of lives, and we might be too much thinking in other circumstances in other areas of life. Same as in tennis, right? I might be a complete doer on a first serve that I'm just going big every time, and I'm not thinking that maybe I could like just kick sometime or do something else. And then in the rally, I'm too much thinker. I'm never going for it. I'm just like trying to react to the situation, you know. like, I know your son, like, like your son is that way, right? Like sometimes like the serve is just hit big, but in the rally it's too much thinking.
Yeah.
Which is great that we all of us have these two aspects in different. Why? Because then you can learn from each other. So like for your son, for example, it can be like, okay, serve more like you play and play more like you serve. Like try
Right.
that and see what happens,
Yeah.
you know? Um, yeah. So it's always, oh, if we go beyond tennis, I don't want to go too much. So we get to the third question, but the last thing is just kind of more in this kind of spiritual sense. Like we live in a world of duality, so always you find these kind of like thinking and doing, and like these kind of opposites, and the goal is kind of to integrate the two, and how can you get them going at the same time, and
Yeah.
that's when you become whole. That you can always, you want to kind of practice the aspect that you don't have in that sense, so that you can get them to like a same, let's say, level. And when they're at the same level, they can work together. Because when they're on a very different level, they can't work together, and you will always be using the one that's more developed. It's the same like for a muscle, right? If I have like the antagonist, if I have like a really strong bicep and a really weak tricep, I'm always going to be using the bicep, like even for things that maybe I should be using the tricep. Like there's an imbalance.
Yeah.
So I need to balance it out, and when you balance it out, it works the most optimally, most effortlessly, um, because you know which one to use at which moment, and each moment's different, and each moment requires either thinking or doing, and you know which one is necessary at the time.
Yeah. And it also shows, and I also don't wanna, I mean, I wanna go to the third question, but it also shows in the, like we say, in the coaching style that, I mean, a lot of coaches are from inside out, that they learn something, how something should look. They have the 5 steps to, or they have some things they are like repeating to all of the students and not really like seeing the picture clear, and also probably the people they are more, or the coaches they are more from outside in, and they can really like take the information from outside, and they can really like diagnostics probably
That's
much better.
why, and that's why the two of us are a good team.
Mm.
As we talked about before, because you're more the doer and I'm more the thinker.
Yeah,
And both are necessary, because it's like
exactly.
I can come and see the right direction clearly, like this is what needs to be done.
Yeah,
But if it doesn't get done, then it doesn't get done.
yeah,
So it's important that you can take it and be like, okay, like to using the treasure and the example, then you go like, okay, this direction we're going full power, this direction,
yeah,
you know, until you again hit like which by the way is great, because you also have that aspect of the thinker in there. So because in your case you're aware that you don't know, because the problem with like the extreme doers is the ones that they don't even know that they don't know, and they just keep going in the same direction
yeah,
forever, and
yeah,
they're not even aware that they're going in the wrong direction.
yeah.
You
And
at you
they
at
end up to going against the wall.
Exactly. Like, yeah. And you have the capacity to say like, okay, like I feel like we're not going in the right direction anymore. Or like we
Yeah,
hit like this is not it.
yeah,
And then you stop, and then we can think through like, okay, which
yeah,
direction
yeah,
now
exactly.
to go, right? So
And that's great. I mean, if somebody can have it in the team, that's just amazing. Yeah, that that you have both the parts. That's
yeah.
perfect.
And it's difficult to like because they're kind of opposites, right? Because I'm the type of coach where I like always want to think of new things that need to be done. And then but there's not enough repetition then to
Yeah,
actually perfect it or get it to
yeah,
the point where it's done. It needs to just like, because then for me as a thinker sometimes it feels boring, like I need a new intellectual challenge, because just the doing is like it's the same over and over again, and it's like you can't think, you're just doing, you're not thinking.
Yeah.
And and but it's so important because with things like tennis, you need to do to get it into the body. Isn't it's that's what we talked about the other day. It's compared to like chess or something where it's all thinking. It's
Exactly.
just making decisions. But in tennis, like you can know exactly what to do, but if you can't do it, you can't do it. So you
Yeah.
need those repetitions, of being able to execute in the match. You need to get into the body through the repetitions and through doing it over and over and over again, without thinking, because that's when in the match you're not thinking, you're just doing at the end of the day, you
Yeah.
know.
Perfect. I believe we could discuss this for another an
Oh yeah.
hour, but let's get to the third questions. So the second serve. I would like to, I mean, start a little bit, maybe there's just a difference between the first and second serve, because there is always like this idea that all of the players just look at the big pros and they just see the kick. Everybody wants to know how to kick serve just from age 10, and then somehow it might, like, if there is not coach, sometimes I have the experience that the kid doesn't think about it. Okay, the first serve I can take a more risk, and the second serve I take a less risk, and I just put it in, and that's it. But sometimes, like when we like discuss a lot the second serve, or we practice a lot the second serve somehow becomes like such a complicated thing. And that's the question, that what is your approach to the second serve, and probably how it also is with the double folds, and what is the thinking process there, because uh, you might develop like fear to double fold too much, and it's just the cycle which is not the good place to find yourself in. So I mean, what do you think?
Okay, I mean, again, there's different ways to approach this, but when we talk about not double faulting, and that is the foundation of the second serve, to get it in. Um, I look at second serve, and I actually agree that most people want to kick, and it is important because you want to learn how to spin the ball, and that doesn't just apply to serve. That's forehand, backhand also. The spin is I would say the spin is the magic in tennis. That's the magical thing in tennis, which keeps the ball in the court no matter how fast you swing. So whether it's forehand, backhand, or the second serve, now we're talking about second serve, the spin is so important. Why? Because when you learn to spin properly, it allows you to swing more freely without the fear of missing. And again, that applies to forehand or backhand also. What that does then is it relaxes you because you're not threatened. You don't have a fear of like, I'm gonna miss if I overswing. It's not gonna fly off, right? What paradoxically that does is you can swing faster. And when you swing faster, what happens? You get more spin. What happens? You get even more control. So you can swing even faster. You get more spin, more control, etc. So you're in this upwards spiral, no matter if it's forehand, backhand, or serve or kick. Now we're talking about. The downward spiral is what? Don't spin, the ball flies long, usually, um, Yeah, the ball flies, and now we're talking about long, let's say. I'll address the in the net in a second, but the ball flies long, so I slow down, I get tight, I get fearful of missing. Because I get fearful of missing, I swing even slower. I swing even slower, I have even less spin, even more it flies long, etc., etc., all the way to I get to the net where I'm actually not swinging almost at all, and that's when it's going in the net. The other reason why it might be going in the net, other than I'm just not swinging because I'm afraid of missing out because I don't have spin, what I just said. The other reason why it might be going in the net is because I'm too afraid of the next shot that I'm pulling down with the serve. So I'm not actually going up on the ball as I'm hitting, but I'm pulling down because the feeling is I want to quickly see if I got it in, or because that's if I'm missing a lot, I want to see if I got it in quickly, so I look down. Or if I have a weak second serve, it's like I want to quickly see where they're gonna hit the next ball because usually I'm getting punished from the second serve. And again, as a downward spiral, like, and that's for this first serve, by the way, also. If I'm missing in the net first serve, a lot of times it's like because I hit and I'm getting like fast returns back and I'm not ready for the next ball. So I'm like looking down because I'm like want to be ready for the next ball too quickly before I even completed the serve. So there's two aspects I would say to the second serve. Is number one is going up on the ball, and number two is the spin. If you go up with your body to the ball and you have spin, again, like I said, because you have spin, you're not afraid to swing. So you go up to the ball and you swing full, and then you get it in. The other kind of thing there also is that there cannot be a big difference of swing speed between the first and second serve. Because this is another misconception that the second serve is slower. And again, why is it slower? Because you don't have spin. If you don't have spin, yes, then you have to hit it slower. Otherwise, it flies. That's why, again, I go back, the spin is so important. And the problem is if you swing slower, you swing faster, the first serve, and you miss it, and then you go to the second serve and you swing slower, you actually hitting a completely different serve. So it throws off the whole rhythm of the serve because they're two different serves you have to hit. But if I swing relaxed, that means like actually full power, but not full power with muscle, like adding power, but like whatever power is there, relaxed arm, first serve, and then I do the second serve the same way. I'm keeping the same rhythm, which helps me to basically I already practiced one on the first and second one, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just changing the angle, the trajectory of the racket to give it spin instead of hitting it flat. I'm just changing what I'm doing with my wrist. But the whole motion, everything I'm doing is exactly the same, which increases the percentage that I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it wrong twice in a row. But if it's two different serves, then like you're doing it for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. That answers the.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's interesting and let's see. Um what I can try on the practices to help them because I mean, most of the time it just the second serve looks completely different with the YouTube videos showing that you have to go here, and not to the front, and also the players have problem like to go with the triceps around the ball like this, and they just staying on the side, and then the ball is not, I mean, doesn't have the arc and doesn't have, and I mean it's strange because in my case, and to make it personal a little bit, I believe that all of my players they are serving very good first serve. And I believe I can teach a good first serve. I see uh, the energies where it comes from, and I can like see what is missing, and I can sometimes it's lag, sometimes the rotation, sometimes it's the just the just to connect the two parts like here and there, and sometimes it's like too soon or too late, or and also the throwing the ball and everything. But in some reason, even though I had a good second serve, and all of the things which helped me to serve better the second serve, I remember, for example, like you said, you have to go up to the ball. So I remember I thought the second serve, and I got the nice arc when I just imagine that when the ball comes down, me with my body and with the hand, I go against the ball up. So somehow it's like first serve you go like this, and the second serve it goes down, and I go up with the ball and with my with to generating the like with the body under the ball. And I have the nice arc, I have the good kick, and it jumping high and jumping to the right. But this never helps to the players somehow. I don't know why, or I don't know why how to explain it better.
Yeah, there is, and obviously, and we will do a video on our channel, I'm sure, soon in the future, like me teaching kick to somebody.
Yeah,
Will be much easier
explain.
to show, like
Yeah,
on the court, than talking about it. But what I can say is one of the biggest misconceptions I see when it comes to kick, a lot of people teach is that you have to throw the ball behind you.
yeah,
That I'm sideways and I have to throw the ball behind me, so I go back. Ellie. The problem is there is that how comfortable is this?
yeah,
It's not. So the real, if you look at a lot of pros, you don't throw the ball behind you. You throw the ball behind you, like on your right shoulder. So you're throwing it diagonally behind you. So you're not leaning backwards, like into a C, but you're leaning backwards, but like kind of backwards sideways. So you're leaning like, over your, like if you're a right-handed player, over your right hip backwards, which anyone, if you try at home, you'll feel that it's much more comfortable. And why does it need to be comfortable? Because from that comfortable position, you can actually come up. Because when players are throwing it behind, then they are not able to come up from that uncomfortable position because the body is like weak. It's like it wants to just fall down because it's just not nice. So that's one of the biggest misconception is this, I would say. And the kick, the second one is like we worked with your son the other day is that there's the idea for the player that I can, because for a kick you have to swing left to right. You're swinging actually left to right instead of backwards to forwards. On the first serve, you're swinging from back to forward, going through the ball. On the kick, you're going left to right. I mean, for a right-handed player now, talking. Um, and a lot of the kids, they might even be able to do it, but they have a feeling of like it's gonna go out. I can't swing left to right because the ball's gonna go out. And that's the easiest way. And what I did with your son is you take them for like doubles. So you go to the doubles alley from the left side for the right-handed player, and you go, okay, serve from the doubles alley like you're playing doubles, like kick from there. So they have a feeling that they have much more space and it's not going to go out, and they can learn this that I'm actually swinging to the right, left to right, with my whole body, with the arm is going left to right, not forward. Because, like you said, when I go forward and I try to kick, that's when it becomes kind of like a kick slice
yeah,
because it's like a combination of kick and flat is actually slice. You end
yeah,
up in the middle somewhere, and that's dangerous. We know that, right? Because suddenly it's like a slow ball that sits up, but it's going into the middle of the box, right to the opponent's return, and then you're in trouble,
yeah,
right? And then when you're in trouble over and over again from the second serve, then all the other things I already mentioned start happening. I start looking down faster to make sure. That means I'm pulling it down. That means I'm hitting in the net, uh, etc. Or I tried swinging faster, but I don't have the kick, so I start missing. So I actually get tight, so I start swinging slower, and all the problems start happening. Um, So I think those two for me, technically speaking, I would do to kind of summarize the kick. It's kind of like number one is like throw the ball not behind you, so you have to lean backwards, but so you have to lean, let's say, sideways, backwards and sideways, throw it there. Number two, you have to go up with the swing, but you're going up and to the right for a right-handed player. You're not going up and front, but up and to the right, and you're swinging left to right, and you're swinging full power, full swing, and that's how it summarized kind of the kick. And with the and you tell the player this is what I already talked about, the understanding of, and that's for the forehand or backhand of this, like look, the more you spin, the more it goes in. The more you want to spin, the faster you have to swing. So you give it more spin because you have to break. The most important is you have to break this feeling of like the faster I swing, the less control I have.
Yeah.
That's only true if there's no spin in the equation. That's why I said the spin is the whole magic of tennis, because suddenly the equation is the faster I swing, the more control I have, which is that's it sounds wrong, but we who play know it's true.
Yeah. Good. Perfect. I think that's it. So thanks a lot for the
Thank you.
answers and
Great questions again, and I like that. Yeah, we went a little bit technical, a little bit
yeah.
almost spiritual, and like kind of mental, and the tactical. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. And we would appreciate the like and the subscribe. So, and we're looking forward for the next episode. So, see you. Bye.
All right, man. Bye bye.
Bye.